Hello guys, welcome to another weekly breakdown video. As you guys know, I always start my weekly breakdown by showing you all the callouts that I've written throughout the week, the important callouts. You can pause the video and you can watch all of them here, right? So before going to the weekly, now let me first show you the news, because news is very important and it plays a very significant role in trading, right? So on Monday there was no news. Tuesday there was news, but not a high probability, like it is not CPI, not PPI, or not any GDP, not unemployment, nothing like that, right? Yeah, it is late in the day, so obviously I trade London. So on London session there was no news. So yeah, even on my calendar, my Facebook calendar, the same sort of thing. So yeah mate, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday there was no high impact news. Thursday and Friday there was CPI and PPI. So Thursday and Friday it would be very tricky to trade, but if you can catch the correct side, it would be very beneficial for you. It will be very beneficiary, right? So now this is let me quickly show you the weekly analysis. On the weekly, nothing changes, the same sort of thing from the last week. As you can see, if I'm bullish, I'm targeting this draw of liquidity. This supply zone is valid to the change of character, demand change of character, fair value gap, right? So the weekly bias is bullish. Clearly we can see, all we gotta know on the weekly is that one. So it's clearly bullish, so I'm looking for buys. And on DXY, the weekly bias is bearish according to how this candle closed. There is no supply zone due to this high and low right around here. This is the demand zone, and this is my target being the draw of liquidity. Okay, so now going on the daily time frame without wasting any time, on Monday clearly we can see this is the daily supply zone, not one of the strongest, and this is not a supply zone. To be honest with you, this is not a supply zone, but if the price is respecting a zone, we have to respect it. We are no one to not respect it if the price is respecting it, right? So now going on Monday, I'm looking for buys, as you can see, because I don't trade the rebalance of price. And yeah, to confirm my bias, I went to DXY, and on DXY we can clearly see there was a fair value, there was rebalance of price right here on here, but I always trade with the trend, so I was looking for sells on DXY, which will be buys on GBP USD. You can argue there was a fair value gap to the upside on DXY, which can get filled obviously later in the week, but it is what it is. So going on Monday, I was looking for buys. So obviously if I'm looking for buys, I will have to look for some sort of demand zones, and I believe there was okay. So on Monday there was no sort of demand zones, no clear demand zones. There were demand zones, but they were not clear, as you can see, right? So just because there were no clear demand zones, the previous week high was swept very early on Monday, as you can see. And also this demand zone right here, as you can see, you can argue this demand zone was already mitigated by this 230 market opening candle. So we know that through backtesting that whenever my demand zone is mitigated on 230 candle, it is very low probability to go and again test that zone. That means the price can have a continuation model from the day. And whenever the weekly bias is clear, like I have written here, somewhere around here, there were no clear zones to trade from on Mondays, and also the higher time frame bias was very clear and bullish. That was the sign that the market can give a continuation model on the day, right? So this is the reason why I have written that call out right there, because on Monday the bias was so clear being bullish, right? And also the zone was already mitigated, as you can see. This was the demand zone already mitigated, so it made sense for the market to give a continuation model. And you know what, the market did give in not a continuation model, but very quick move. Asian low liquidity sweep the price. Look, the market has already swept so much liquidity from the 2:30 AM candle, right? So that was one of my signs that the market can literally go up from the Asian range. So you have to be smart in the market. You have to adapt. You have to look what the market has done, what the opening candle has done, how the volume is looking like. Trading is all about volume, right? If you can read volume, if you can read liquidity, with what liquidity the market is moving, and according to that you can adapt, that is where you will become profitable. As you can see on Monday, it was obviously, with my strategy, this was not one of the trades, but if I was smart enough, if I was perspicacious enough, I would have taken this trade, and this was a winning trade. As you can see on the hourly, I will not show you the lower time frame because there is nothing special, I believe. On the M15, obviously after this inducement right around here, we got the move exactly at our timing, which is 12:38 AM UK time. So this move also happened at our timing, so it was a winning trade, right? So now going on Tuesday, without wasting any time, let me quickly show you what I was looking for on Tuesday. So this supply zone I have not marked at the start of the week, but I marked it because the market was respecting this zone, right? Market went up, huge amount of buying happened, and then sellers kicking the market from this sort of zone, finding resistance. So that like gave me little bit of confirmation that that supply zone may be valid. And also there was a daily fair value gap which can get filled on Tuesday. So going on DXY, obviously my weekly bias is bearish, as you can see right around here. My weekly bias on DXY is bearish, GU is bullish, so anything aligning with that will be high probability. But I also trade the daily bias, as you guys know, and we have been seeing results on that, so why not? So going on Tuesday, I was looking for buys on DXY, and GBP USD I will look for sells automatically, right? And also, according to how this candle closed on Monday, this supply zone was getting respected, so I also respected it. If the market is respecting it, you have to respect it, because you are trading the markets, the markets are not trading you, right? So now going on Tuesday, I was looking forward to fill up this fair value gap on the daily time frame. As you can see right around here, the fair value gap was a bit bigger here. So I was looking for sales. If I'm looking for sales, I would look for some sort of change of character, which didn't happen on the 4 hourly. And on the hourly, there was a kind of change of character, I believe. Yes, there was a change of character right around here. So I was looking forward to trading this. Personally, I would like to trade this sort of supply zone right around here because of huge selling pressure on New York session. But obviously, according to how the volume was, and the market can have its move from any zone, as we know. So the market, what did the market do? It went up, swept liquidity. First it went down, swept the Asian low liquidity right around here, and we know that liquidity is the essence of the market. The price chased liquidity, right? Went down, gave the fake move. London session gave the fake move right here in 12:30. Boom, swept the Asian low, went up, swept these highs, swept the liquidity from these highs right here. And then what did the market do? Went up, swept the Asian high, swept this M15 supply. This supply zone was very, very weak. I would never trade this supply zone ever because of how weak it was. But obviously, after seeing this rejection right around here, look at this, bro. It is a very good rejection after sweeping so much of liquidity right here. Obviously, we have to use our brain. The price has swept so much of liquidity. The bias is bearish. Asian high liquidity sweep. M15 supply zone got mitigated. It is giving a beautiful rejection. That is when I enter right around here, which was obviously 16:15 is like our 4:15, so which is not our timing. So obviously in the live market I would not take this trade because it is not in my time window. I trade 7 AM to 10 AM UK time because that is the most volatile time in the markets, or I can change it to 8 to 11 AM UK time. I will decide that after my backtesting or through my backtesting, okay? So clearly we can see it was a winning trade. Beautiful move happened right around here. We caught our 1:3, and then what the market did, market went up, swept liquidity from the London sellers right around here. We entered here, our stop loss was here, right? The price knows, the big banks knows that people have entered here. What did they do? What did they do? They went up, New York session went up, swept liquidity from the London sellers, and then a huge amount of selling displacement happened. This was the main move that happened on New York session, right? So instead of this trade, should have taken this trade, shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? There is always a shoulda, woulda, coulda on trading. So you have to make your decisions and you have to take full accountability of your decisions and improve day by day. That's how you become a profitable trader. Success is not overnight, right? You have to do compound. You have to do it every single day, and then compounding interest is the eighth wonder of the world, as Albert Einstein said, and that's true, bro. You work, and then you get results like it was hidden somewhere. Exactly, it happened with me with my physique. After years of hard work, my physique literally became what it's today. So I believe in that. So Monday literally gave us a bearish pin bar. Tuesday also kind of bearish. It also made sense to go and fill up this fair value gap. But now this is not that confirming because the fair value gap got smaller, and also the buying pressure was so much, right? But even though I trade the daily bias, and if I am looking for something, I will look for sells on Wednesday. So to confirm my bias, I went to DXY. The DXY has filled up this daily fair value gap right around here, and after filling the fair value gap, it has not shown any signs of reversal or any signs of rejection. It filled up the fair value gap, body closed above the previous week high on the daily time frame, and it was literally looking bullish. So I was looking for buys on DXY and sells on GBP USD. So if I show you the news, even on Wednesday there was only Fed Powell speak, which was not at the time that I trade usually. So yeah, mate. So on the 4 hourly, we can clearly see there was a change of character right around here. I marked it, but I unmarked it because on Thursday it literally changed the character to the upside. On Wednesday, sorry. So the change of character happened right around here. So I was looking for sells from this sort of supply zone. It was a very, very good supply zone. I have also journaled this trade. Obviously this is like, trust your intuition. I have written a call out, right? I have written for this reason. This day was not making sense for us to trade. In the live markets, maybe I would not trade because you have seen the volume, right? On Tuesday, it didn't close as a bearish candle. It was a very low probability day, so obviously anything can happen in the market. So it was a genuine loss. I was waiting for some sort of Asian high sweep, mitigate my point of interest, inducement, and my checklist to get checked. I have a checklist which works a lot, and if you only take the trade after your checklist is ticked and you follow a plan, bro, your win rate is gonna be very, very high, because it is what it is. So there was inducement once, inducement twice, and what did I do? I entered the trade after the market has entered this point of interest that I've marked. The M15 accumulated for a bit, went up, swept liquidity from the sellers right around here. That is exactly what I want to see before entering, and then the change of character happened. I can guarantee you there was some sort of change of character in the lower time frames. So I took this trade. I believe that this trade I would have taken on the live markets also if I was following my daily bias, and if I didn't go the trade on Monday and Tuesday, right? So this trade I have journaled, and if you want to see this trade, explanation of this trade, why I took it, why, where, and when, you can watch that video. It will be down on my other check playlist. So this was a genuine loss. After this loss, what I did, losses are part of the game, right? So you don't need to feel bad, or you don't need to feel anything, bro. Once you lose a trade, on to the next one, because the probabilities in the long term, what happens in the long term, it's what matters. Doesn't matter that you lose a trade, right? That's, if you can adopt that mindset, you will go very far in trading. It is what it is. People fail due to the mindset. They don't have discipline in life. That's why. So going on Wednesday, it was a very, very bullish candle, and after a bullish candle like this on Thursday, obviously I'm looking for buys, and on DXY it was aligning. Obviously it was a bearish candle, a very, very beautiful bearish candle. Literally whole day selling happened on DXY and buying happened on GBP USD. So this is when I go to the lower time frames like the H4 change character to the upside. This is the reason I took this change of character here to here, because we adapt, we don't predict, right? So if I'm looking for buys, I will look for some sort of demand zone, and before looking for a demand zone, I will wait for Asian range to close and wait. There was a demand zone here, right? So if the Asian range did something like this, it would be so beautiful to trade this. But now, as you can see, the Asian range went literally up, so huge amount of buying happened again. So does it make sense for the market to come down all the way to this demand zone that was made on New York session and go up, or it makes sense to do something like this, or even a continuation model? On Thursday I decided not to trade because obviously on Thursday there was GBP and USD, both news, and whenever there is news on both the pairs, that is when I tend not to trade. So the market literally gave us a continuation model. As you can see, beautiful move. Our setup didn't appear on Thursday, so I didn't do the trade. Simple as that. Your setup is not there, you don't take the trade. Don't force anything in the markets. Don't try to make something out of nothing. That's the worst mistake you can make as a trader. So as you can see, CPI, literally CPI went exactly with the bias I was looking for buys, and if you could have entered a trade somewhere around here, anyhow, I don't know how, but if you entered the trade here, anticipating your setup has appeared, you could have caught a very, very beautiful move right around here. This CPI, you could have rode this CPI with the bias. So also you have to keep that in mind. News candles literally give us a huge move, and if we can if we can predict or anticipate the correct direction of the market, we will make a bag out of that. So that was what happened on Thursday. So Thursday was news, so it was obviously not that of a high probability to trade, and the daily supply zone, which was very, very weak, didn't got respected, as you can see, and now a huge amount of buying is happening. So going on Friday, what makes more sense, buying or selling? Tell me. Buying, right? So obviously now you guys are also understanding. As you can see, on Friday it makes sense to buy because of how Wednesday and Thursday closed. Only a foolish guy will sell here. Even if it works, it doesn't make sense to sell right there, because we trade with the trend. We are pro trend traders. And also on DXY we can see how the Thursday candle closed. Literally this demand zone is getting respected. As you can see, huge amount of buying happened, but obviously even then the sellers are getting stronger. So on Friday I would literally not trade, or I would look for buys. Let me just show you Friday. Friday closed a very huge bullish candle, and on DXY it closed a, I don't know why it's not showing, it closed as a bearish candle. Daily gave a wick, and the next day filled up the wick. The daily wick gets filled, as we know from our previous strategy, which was the set and forget strategy, right? So we can use that also, that information never dies, right? If you have learned something, that is something like trading, it is with you till you die. So on Thursday it gave a wick, Friday it filled up the wick on DXY, whereas on GBP USD, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday literally made 3 white soldiers. Huge amount of buying pressure happened, and yeah bro, this was a very bullish week. So going on the next week, it will be fun to trade. I will look for buys, but also it makes sense to go and fill up the fair value gap. So let me quickly show you what happened on Friday. So on Friday I was looking for buys, obviously because of how Thursday closed, and also on Friday there was PPI news. If I show you, there was core PPI and prelim consumer sentiment, so huge amount of news on the dollar. So New York session is very tricky to trade, but if you can catch a trade on London session, it would be very beautiful, as you know. So I was looking for buys, Asian low. If I was looking for buys, I would look for some sort of Asian low liquidity to get swept, this H1 fair value gap to get filled, and this demand zone, which was made on 4:30 p.m. Thursday. Huge amount of buying happened, right? I would look for buys, something like this, but that didn't happen. What happened instead was, it didn't even sweep the Asian low and then made the move, which was, I believe, in my session 12:30 p.m. Let me check. The price went down. If it swept the Asian low, it would be a valid trade, but it didn't. So, and also if it was a continuation model, I would wait for some sort of fair value gap to get filled, which also didn't get filled. So yeah, this was not our setup. So sometimes you will miss a trade because it's not your setup, and that's totally fine. As you can see here, exactly bro, this was at our time 12:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, which is London Open. Here we could have taken this trade and hold it through the news, and it would make us a bag again, right? CPIs, PPIs, I will try to trade. Next time on the live markets, I will try to trade those high impact news. Try as in like, I will try to get an entry before the news, and if I am in profit, I'll break even the trade and write that. And if I can catch a trade, then bro, it's gonna make me a lot of percentage. So yeah, maybe I'll take that risk. So no risk, no reward, right? So let me quickly show you the weekly candle, how it closed. It was a very bullish candle. So going on the next week, I will look for buys, which is tomorrow. Stay tuned for the video.